time pops, and let's talk about Mandalorian episodes 3 and 4. Yeah, catch up this week, right? Because I had stuff that happened last week, guys. Real life gets in the way sometimes, gets off your schedule, but got caught up. Give you my thoughts on these two episodes, where we kind of are on things, and I will tell you that Jon Favreau's writing is kind of surprising, and I'll kind of give you some thoughts on that. So the episode kind of picks up at the end of the last one, where basically Mando had finally gotten to the waters on Mandalore. He's going to do his bathe procedure. Therefore, he can say the creed. He can be allowed back into the Mandalorian club, basically. He falls down deep, and Bo Katan saves him the second time in that episode. And she sees the mythosaur as they're escaping, and then they got to the surface, and this is kind of where we pick up the story. Um, she drops a little line about, did you see anything? So he's unaware of the mythosaur as well. It's not as though something that he knows about. And as you can see, I was just really shocked at how dark all of this is. It's really, really shot very, very dark. So we have a little space sequence here with him doing different things, and a nice little sequence in the air of them flying around and doing some different things.
Heading to you.
I actually liked all of this. Thought this was actually pretty good. This actually was kind of a better sequence, and really, really showcases both characters. Like, I don't think any one character, looks good or look bad compared to the other. They both look great. Thought this was actually a fun little sequence, and thought it went pretty well. They do bomb, basically the fortress that Bo-Katan's been staying in, so all that gets destroyed again. And then we cut to this doctor. Now, I'm glad they did a recap, because I kind of forgot who this guy is. He's basically the cloning doctor from way back in season 1, and he is now part of the New Republic because the Empire is gone, and he is now going to be included in what's called the amnesty program. So he's sort of like, he's not a prisoner anymore, but he's talking about the cloning process. And then you have these scenes where it's like a rich person's party where everyone goes around hobnobbing or whatever. And I have to be honest, the casting is really not quite right on some of these. Like, this is an alien. Obviously, it's the Admiral Akbar species, and like, it's obviously a very small human in this costume, and doesn't quite look right. The head just looks misproportioned. But at least there are aliens. I got to give them credit for that, because I don't know how many episodes of Andor we had. But this is the old, the rich people who don't even care if it's the Empire or the New Republic. They're not really phased, because they're like safe and whatever. And it's kind of a mockery of the uber elite and the uber wealthy, which I think is all fine. And then we get to basically this started around, make sure I got the timestamp, the 10-minute mark. So from 10 minutes, and we get this massive story arc about his whole existence in all of this before he meets this other amnesty individual. So we start off with the space battle and Bo-Katan and Mando, Djarin. And then we get to this Dr. Pershing. And basically you have this whole conversation about life with the Empire versus life now. He wants to get this mobile lab technology that he could resume his experimentation, because he feels like there's a benefit. I'm going to say benefit to humanity, but they just mean people, organisms. And she's really befriending him. They're chit chatty all the time. They're getting along. There's a comment about things you missed under the Empire. It's like a comment about biscuits, and she leaves biscuits on his doorstep or whatever. And then she's basically trying to find a way to help him go get this mobile lab. And the entire sequence is them trying to skirt and break rules to do that. Then you also get this. Let's see if I get to the right shot here. So I want to show you guys this droid, this therapy droid, basically is there to ask how you're doing. I thought this was a horrible design on this droid. This droid looks like the prototype droid for whatever they were going for. Like, it's so generic. This doesn't even look like. This looks so much more generic than what was in New Hope and the prequels. Like, I don't understand how that passed the mustard, by the way. Anyway, so all of this continues. There is no cut back to Bo-Katan or Mando. This is the whole episode. It goes in here the whole time. They race away. They get this basically a little suitcase lab. That's what they do before the officials catch them. And she basically just rolls over on him. And then you're basically at this scene where he's strapped down to basically what looks like an MRI machine, right? He's strapped down to this thing, kind of like a modified MRI type machine. Again, looks like something out of Halo. It's way too clean and neat and nice, sterile. I hated all of this. And I hate the fact that the New Republic feel like it's okay to be torturing and mind wiping people. Because he's basically like, this is a mind wipe machine from the Empire. They're like, oh, no, 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 it's not that at all. I'm like, yeah, it is. He would know. And that's what they do. Well, turns out she is, she's got a double agenda. So she sneaks back into the room and turns it all the way up to fry him. And she's got this suitcase stuff, right? So this is, let's see, we return to Bo-Katan and Mando, let's say the 48-minute mark. So that means 38 minutes of like an Andor episode, like people walking, talking, going to get some item, don't really care because it's only about the girl getting the item. I don't know why she needed him to get it, but she did. So yeah, that's what happened before we resume to the story that matters, which is about Bo-Katan, and they're going to go hide out. Well, Din Djarin is actually taking them to where the other Mandalorians are, so he can confirm that he did bathe in the waters and be allowed back into their religion. This is the way. This is the way. This is the way. And they even offer that to her, even though she's not interested. She's like, "Well, you're kind of one of us now." She's kind of like, "Well, no, I don't really care to be." And they're like, "It's okay. You haven't taken your helmet off yet. You're okay." And that kind of takes us to the next episode. And here, the entire episode is about the Mandos. And there are some positives in this episode. I like certain elements of this episode compared to some of the other ones. Basically I don't know how I felt about the training sequence, because some of the training just looks really, really like slow motion training. Like you can just tell. And then we have, Baby Yoda playing with these little sea crab things that walk away. And he's like, no, you got to come over here and you have to start sparring. So he pits him against this kid, and they're going to use this dart throwdown. And the kid's talking smack, like, you're way too young. And let's see here. Let's get to the shots. They use these dart things, like paintball darts. Let's see here. So he gets it. He gets shot twice, and he gets a little pep talk, and then it kind of goes crazy. So let me get to this shot, because I did not like this at all. So he's got his two things, then they got to go to it, and he leaps in the air, and leaps in the air again. That looks absolutely horrible. I hated all of that. I could not stand this scene. This just looks terrible. I can't understand. Anyway, so he gets shot 3 times. Baby Yoda wins. Baby Yoda moves on. He has some respect because he uses his little, quote, Jedi powers. And then out of the blue, the turkey dragon shows up and takes the kid. And I hate this weird costuming thing they do for the kids, where the kids wear a helmet, but they don't really have any armor or anything like that. It's like, I don't understand this obsession with the helmet and not have anything else. Like, this isn't translating well. Anyway, so this is our turkey dragon, because I guess obviously Game of Thrones, we need to have dragons. And Bo-Katan is smart enough to go get her ship, because not everybody can chase after the dragon, because they go so far, they'll run out of jet fuel. So she gets her ship and she tracks it down. Now, we don't see her tracking it down. We see her just flying for so long, and then she comes back and she knows everything. Then they put together a scouting party to go and do the rescue. Meanwhile, the metal worker, the army, the forger, basically takes Baby Yoda, and they make a Flavor Flav size medallion for him, as he has a flashback to Order 66. So you have a little bit of the origin story of him escaping Coruscant during Order 66 with a Jedi, some different combat stuff. This was all fine. I actually enjoyed all of this. I thought this was actually really nice. It was really good to have actually some backstory for a change. And then we kind of cut back to the mission at hand, and they're going to try to scale this mountain because if they use their jetpacks or the ship, the creature will hear them, so therefore it will kill the kid. Don't know why. Don't know why the kid would even be alive. Like if it took the kid, it's either to eat the kid or feed the kid, right? There's like I don't understand why it's keeping the kid around. We don't know. It's not really discussed. We just do things because we need the plot to do it, so we can show all these Mandalorians, you know, going up this thing. And this guy's like, what's the deal with his firearm thing? It's so obnoxiously big. I mean, talk about compensating for something, dude. Yeah, I don't understand his character having that, but I guess it's based on probably something I don't know what. Anyway, they climb to the top, and the turkey dragon is quite literally a bird's nest. Mm-hmm. I was like, what? I thought this was going to be a cave. I thought there'd be something. No, it's a bird's nest. And of course, they irritate the thing and it just jumps right out. There's 3 babies in that nest and it grabs the kid and flies away. Now, I don't understand because they said it was going to kill him, but it didn't kill him. And they find a way to fight, use their ropes, break it free, save the kid, and they fly back. Bo Katan has proven that she's amazing. By the way, I skipped over the fire scene because they're all sitting around like, how do you eat? Well, you don't eat. You wander off by yourself so you can take your helmet off. I'm like, really? Okay. But she gets to sit by the fire because she was the leader on the mission. So that's what they did. They're obviously setting up Bo Katan to take over the Mandalorian and become a leader. Everyone's going to rally behind her because she's amazing. And then they bring out the little turkey dragon babies. Like they brought them back, which is actually, I'm glad they did because that was my first thought. I was like, wait a minute, you killed the mama. Oh, by the way, yeah, let's get back to the mama because the mama turkey dragon, it lands in the water and they come back to the alligator. So it's, we're having this scene happen. They save the kid, right? You can see that. And then here you have the alligator. So the alligator went Lake Placid and killed the dragon. So I guess that explains why we had the alligator in episode 1 because we had to make sure I had a callback for the dragon. Yeah. So there you go. That's how far Favreau has fallen. That this is the level of creativity that he's come into things. As he like makes a giant alligator going mosasaur on the turkey dragon, and we're all supposed to be like, ooh, Star Wars. And I'm like, doesn't feel like Star Wars much at all. I feel like you got a bunch of people cosplaying, and I've seen better cosplay at celebrations, Star Wars celebrations. So there's that. So yeah, this is her getting her. She lost a piece of her shoulder armor, and they're gonna replace it. And they put the logo on her shoulder and telling her it's all okay and things like that. This episode is extremely short. Carl Weathers directed it. It is 27 minutes minus another minute. So it's like less than 30 minutes. Really, really short episode. So look, the writing is kind of like it's so uneven. Like even the story with this backstory of this scientist and all of that, the editing and the way it all came together was so abruptly. It starts and it stops and starts again with the whole Mando story. Like I don't understand why we couldn't have figured out ways to integrate all this. I feel like everything is sort of backfilled. We want to get from here to there. How we do that? Well, we contrive this to happen. Well, how do we do this to this? Okay, we'll do this. It isn't really anyone stepping back and going, does this make sense on why we're doing certain things? We just do things. We just do things. So suddenly now, Djarin's plan is, I'm going to adopt Baby Yoda, take him away from Luke and his Jedi training, and now force him into the Mandalore culture so he can train to be a Mandalorian. He's too young. He can't speak for himself. I'm not sure that's what you want to do with your cult. Sorry, just saying. So, anyway, maybe you guys are loving this. I am not loving this. I don't know how I feel about it. Because in Andor, the problem was it was so slow. It's like it was a fine show. It just needed to be trimmed and edited down so it would move along a little bit faster. Not that it was terrible. It was just always, and then of course you get to the torture chair, which is a topic of itself. Because here we have the MRI machine. But the space battle sequences were fine. Even the Mandalorians fighting the turkey chicken dragon was okay. It wasn't the best thing in the world. It wasn't terrible. So it's like it's one of these like highs and lows, but it's not creating any enthusiasm. I'm not excited about. I can't wait till I see the next episode or anything like that. It's just not. I feel very generic and bland. And as I've said, apathy is worse than hatred in a lot of ways, and that's where Star Wars has gotten to. So that's my take on it. You guys can tell me what you guys think. Thank you so much. I am Pops.